everybody. This is Tosha, and you are tuning into the Supernova Tosha Show podcast, the show that addresses social issues and how it affects our community. And today we're going to be addressing the rise in bacterial and viral infections. And it was so coincidental that I had this topic before. Um, so many people are now coming out with whatever viral infections that they're getting. So the Centers for Disease Control, which is the CDC, reports that COVID-19 cases are increasing in at least 38 states, with the most significant surges occurring in the western and southern regions. Additionally, the CDC notes that two variants now make up more than half of the infections nationwide. Louisiana and Mississippi are among the states that are experiencing a notable rise in cases. Now, some healthcare workers say that the rise in cases could be due to the bump in summer travel. A lot of people are traveling now, and due to all the treatments and vaccines, things are not as bad as they were the start of the pandemic. If you remember, when we initially went through the pandemic, it was so bad. It was scary. It was apocalyptic, really. So now it's milder, it's easier to manage. Most of us have the immunity. The CDC reports that less than 1% of COVID-19 cases were fatal between June 16th and June 22nd of 2024. And according to the updated CDC guidelines, you can resume normal activities once your symptoms improve and you are fever free without using any type of fever reducing medication. So, LSU Health indicates that Louisiana has experienced a 15% rise in emergency room visits and 25% increase in hospitalization. Experts emphasize that everyone 6 months and older should receive an updated vaccine for the fall. Um, if the vaccine is for you, go ahead and take it. If it's not for you, then do what is best for you. I just don't want us to go through all that um, debate and debacle about getting vaccine and anti-vax. It really did cause separation within people in the country. So it was just a bit much. If you want to get it, get it. It doesn't have to be a big to do about it. Now, experts anticipate a significant spike in COVID-19 cases this winter, emphasizing the importance of staying up to date with your boosters. Boosters will raise your antibody levels and help prevent you from getting infected. So they go on to say that it's crucial to know that there are measures that you can take to protect yourself from the infection and ways to treat the illness if you do contract it. LCMC Health advises that if you test positive, it is essential to protect others by wearing a mask, especially around individuals that have medical conditions, that have compromised health, that put them at a higher risk of complications. Now, please be careful this summer. The COVID surge. Please be careful of this summer's COVID surge. The experts are saying that the increase in the infection is expected due to people gathering indoors to escape the extreme heat and the busy 4th of July travel period. Now, although experts anticipate this summer wave will remain mild, it's a reminder to stay vigilant, especially for those who are medically vulnerable. Um, the positive is that deaths and hospitalizations have remained low. So be very vigilant, be careful. I cannot stress enough, wash your hands. Wash your hands. Try not to touch your face, avoid touching your face. Some of the worst COVID-19 trends among Western states have been observed in Hawaii, where wastewater levels have now surpassed the peak seen this past winter. COVID-19 emergency rooms visits in Hawaii have also reached some of the highest levels in over a year, exceeding peaks from last summer and winter, according to the recent CDC data. Now, knowing that Hawaii is so warm, and it's surprising to me that they would have such an increase in numbers, but again, I don't think it has anything to do with warmth. It's just these um, small particles that just invade the air. It's airborne, and you never know. You just don't know. Like, we don't know enough on how we're getting these, but just be vigilant, be careful. If you can wear a mask, please do. Um, I don't think it 100% protects you, but there is some barrier of protection. So yeah, emergency room visits across the region from Hawaii to Arizona appear to be plateauing, falling short of the peaks from last year's summer and winter waves. So it's not just during the winter; we're having summer peaks as well. So if you've ever heard of airborne bacterial microbes, so these are biological airborne contaminants such as bacteria, viruses, or fungi, as well as airborne toxins pass from one person to the next through the air without any physical contact. This happens when an infected person sneezes, when an infected person coughs, or even breathes. Right? Uh, it's rather difficult to prevent such a method of transmission, and airborne microbes are a major cause of respiratory ailments. Now, if you become ill with a respiratory infection in the springtime and it wasn't the flu, COVID 19, or RSV, I don't know if any of you experienced this, you may have what's called metapneumovirus or HMPV. It surged across the United States in March. The HMPV, which is part of the same viral family as RSV, is one of many viruses that can cause upper respiratory infections, commonly known as colds. However, the real concern is that HMPV can penetrate deeper into the airways and cause pneumonia. So, who's at risk? Well, anyone from babies to the ages of babies from the ages of like 6 to 12 months old. And then you also have your older adults. There's also people with an impaired immunity and people with lung and heart conditions and folks with asthma. How can this be prevented? As always, please wash your hands, wash your hands, and keep away from anyone who presents with flu or cold like symptoms. I do see a lot of people wearing masks. I've recently been in stores like Walmart, and also I've been recently in the post office, and I saw employees in the post office wearing masks. I saw employees at Walmart wearing masks. So there are a lot of people that are, wearing those somehow um, some kind of a protective gear. Like I said, I don't think it's 100%, but as long as it offers some sort of a barrier, anything is better than nothing. And I tell you, I wish I had a mask because there was a girl who stood behind me. Now, I always give people the courtesy of staying at least 3 feet or more behind them. I give them space, just because I recently just got over something too. And so I give people space so that if, a sneeze come up or a cough or something, that I'm not directly spreading anything to them. But there are some people who doesn't matter what, they're just always behind you. Like they just right there behind you. And it's super annoying to me. And she was sneezing. I don't know. She sounded like she had a cold or something, but she just kept sneezing. And then she's on her phone and you can hear her. She's very nasally. And I just thought it was just so rude. And I remember I was standing in the pastry shop not too long ago, and someone as like I kept moving up and she kept moving up and she was so close behind me, like I could feel her body heat. And I just turned around and I told her, I was like, I'm sick. And she's like, what? I go, I'm sick. I have a virus. So you may want to, just give me some space. I wasn't sick, but she just annoyed me so much standing so close to me. If I can feel your body heat, you're way too close to me. So, yeah, like I said, I see a lot of people that are exercising, wearing masks, and like I said, in the post office and Walmart. And so you can avoid indoor crowds, especially during cold and flu season. If you can, I know there's a lot of concerts, there's a lot of events going on because people are like back now because COVID shut us down for so many years. So many things were canceled. And so there's a lot of festivals and concerts and so many things that are happening. But just be very careful and try not to be too much into confined indoor spaces with lots of crowds. And like I said, back in March, I had something. I don't know what exactly it was. I looked up my symptoms. I thought it was walking pneumonia. I've never had walking pneumonia before, but when I looked up the symptoms, and you should never do this. Like we give ourselves all these issues. We become hypochondriacs, which I'm already a hypochondriac. But we give ourselves a lot of issues because we self-diagnose and we go on WebMD and we Google things and we're self-diagnosing. And so I'm thinking, okay, so I have walking pneumonia, but literally my body, like everywhere, all over my body, was just hurting. I was in so much pain, and I had a fever. And then one minute I was hot, and then the next minute I was cold, and then I was hot again, and then I was sweaty, and I had a lot of mucus. It was just a lot of mucus. And I didn't go to the urgent care, which I usually go, or I didn't go to the doctor, which I usually would go. But I was just kind of watching because once the mucus starts to change colors, that's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. But I was just so weak. I was in such a weakened state that just getting up and schlepping myself off to see a doctor, it was just thinking about it made me exhausted. So that's why I didn't go. But back in March, I had something, and I know so many people said that they had whatever it was that was going around at that time, and of course, it could have been that I had the HMPV back then. So I just remember being um, around maybe I'm trying to figure out how I got it, and I'm not in a lot of crowded spaces. Um, and I try to go grocery shopping like Monday mornings before midday, before 2 p.m. Um, because listen, grocery shopping is such a chore for me, and I wanted to get one of those delivery they shop for you and deliver it to your house. But a lot of people I know canceled their service because they said that they don't pick the best produce, they don't pick the best vegetables and things like that. So it's just better off you do it yourself. Okay, so walking to a grocery store on the weekends is a nightmare. So I try to go on Mondays, like around 10, 11, 12 o'clock. And, I'm there by myself. I can pick what I want. Nobody's bothering me. I love it. I don't have crowds. It's like the best day for me to go grocery shopping. So I don't remember being, crowded in the grocery store. And, I'm outside quite a bit, outdoors. I'm trying to grow fruit. I'm trying to be like this, the farmer. And so I'm always like, in the backyard or whatever. And I'm at the beach quite frequently. I love just being at the beach, even if I don't go into the water, just being out there on the sand and the sun and watching the ocean, and water just calms me. I don't know if it's because I'm Pisces, a water sign. I don't really believe in horoscopes, but it could be that. But anything water just really, really calms my spirit. So I'm outdoors a lot, and I don't know if that's how I got sick. You have airborne uh, little things that are just floating around. So it could have been that. And then all of a sudden, end of June rolls around, right? And boom, I get hit with something else. I don't know what it is. I don't know where I got it, but thank goodness it wasn't that severe. So I was coughing, my voice was hoarse, I was sneezing a lot. It was a lot of sneezing. I had a lot of mucus, but it was clear. So of course, I didn't go to the doctor. I didn't go to urgent care. And so I'm like, okay, there has to be something airborne because again, if I'm indoors, I'm home. And if I am, outside the home and I'm indoors, it's not crowded. I'm not around crowds. So, and I don't visit people's homes. So it's not like, I was at somebody's house and maybe their kid was sick or something like that. I really, um, I don't know. So and the reason why I don't visit people's homes because I'm a major germ phobe. Like I, like I automatically visualize that there's all kinds of stuff floating around in people's houses on their couch, especially when they sit on the couch. They have their feet in the couch, or they have the dog and the cat, and everybody's sitting on the couch, and I can't do it. So I get paranoid, and I'm like, okay, so what if I have to use the bathroom? I don't like to sit on toilet seats. So it's stressful for me. So if I'm going to meet up with a friend, let's meet somewhere. Let's meet out somewhere and talk. So again, all these viruses floating around. I'm a bit OCD and a little bit of a hypochondriac mixed into one. So I mean, can you blame me? Since 2029, we've been dealing with the COVID outbreak, and now it's 2024, and it's still an issue. It's still an issue in 2024, and now President Biden has tested positive, and this, according to the White House press secretary, her name is Karine Jean-Pierre, and also the president's doctor. They came publicly to say that President Biden. Um, he has tested positive for the COVID virus. So, following his first event in Las Vegas, let's see, yeah, he tested positive for COVID-19. He is vaccinated. I just want you to know this as well. He is vaccinated. President Biden is also had his booster shots, and they're saying that his symptoms are very mild, and so he's back home in Delaware. I didn't know he lived in Delaware, but he's back home in Delaware, and he's isolating while he's still continuing to work. So kudos to him, and I wish him a speedy recovery. And I want to share with you a short little video about the COVID-19 in the summer, the spike in the summer. So I'm going to just go ahead and roll this quick video and just take a look and just try to, get a little bit of knowledge of what's going on for the summer. Okay, let's roll that video.
Well, in today's Health Watch on WJZ at 9, COVID numbers are on the rise with a summer surge.
Dr. Mona Gahunia joining us this morning with what you need to know. Good morning. So first talk to us about this surge that's happening right now.
Yeah, I think some of it is expected with all the summer travel, people going to various places, and then with people being off for the 4th of July holiday, there were a lot of gatherings. I think because of the hotter weather, more of those gatherings happened indoors, and there was less ventilation and outdoor activity, so that explains some of it. Plus the decreasing immunity with people. It's been some time since people got their last COVID shot.
And what symptoms should we be watching out for with this particular strain?
The symptoms haven't changed with this particular strain. It's still the same symptoms that you would expect, very similar to other cold and flu symptoms. But, the things to really look out for are higher fever, a worsening cough, because that may and shortness of breath, of course, because that may mean that you have a deeper infection like a pneumonia, and then you would want to be treated immediately.
And when should people be testing for COVID, and what should they do if they find out they're positive?
Yes, because it can be hard to distinguish COVID from a regular summer cold, it's really good to have home tests available and to test, if you've been sick for a day or two, just to be sure it's not COVID and you don't require further treatment. Because anybody 50 and up qualifies for Paxlovid immediately and can get on it and shorten their course of disease and prevent spread to others. And certainly other people with underlying conditions need to know as quickly as possible that they have it.
And what can we do to protect ourselves?
Yeah, that advice also hasn't changed. So everyone should be pretty familiar with it by now. Hand washing is super important. Try to avoid very crowded indoor settings. Go to places with better ventilation, and just be aware. As soon as you experience symptoms, like I said, doing a quick home test can really prevent spread to others.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Gahunia. We appreciate all of this important information.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was great information given by the doctor. So you kind of see what COVID-19 is in 2024. And with most people with COVID-19, they experience mild illness and can recover at home. Over-the-counter medicines such as acetaminophen or ibuprofen can make you feel better. Prescriptions like Paxlovid, as she mentioned, and also is it remdesivir. They are available for those at higher risk, of getting severe illnesses. I do believe that President Biden is being treated with Paxlovid, and that was, it's definitely because of his age. His age makes him at a higher risk, and as the doctor said, anyone over age 50 automatically qualifies for that medication. So, these medications, they must be started within 5 to 7 days of the symptom onset. And, people, more likely to get very sick include older adults, those who are unvaccinated, and also those who are not up to date on their COVID-19 vaccinations, and individuals with certain medical conditions such as chronic lung disease, heart disease, or if you have a weakened immune system. So at this time, I really did not think that we'd be dealing with COVID-19. But tell me what you think. Did you think like in 2024, especially summer, and a lot of these states are reporting record high heats. There are states that are in the triple digits. So tell me what you think if you thought that COVID would just be like a regular cold. I don't know if it's something we should be concerned about, or where they're saying to get vaccinated and what have you. Is this something that the CDC is pushing because they're pushing the vaccine? I don't know, but all I can say is just be very careful. Take time to enjoy the summer holiday, though. Don't let this be something that scares you. Book that flight, gather with your family and friends, go to the festival, go to the concert, watch that movie, go to the movies. Just know that um, although it's not going to be like back in 2019, but it's still out there. And I say this because I was recently on Facebook, and Facebook shared a memory with me. Um, I had one that came up with a family member who passed away from COVID, and I didn't remember, but we had like a day in my backyard, and we were just out by the pool, and we were talking and laughing, and we are like cooking outdoors, and it was just so nice to hear her voice. I used to call she's very soft spoken, but she was tall. She was like, oh God, she was at least 6'2", I think. Um, but she was a gentle giant, and it was just nice to hear her voice. COVID-19 changed my life forever. I lost so many people from it, and at that time I wanted to keep a journal, but I couldn't because it was such a struggle every single day. Each day was a struggle just to get up, and you have to get kids ready for homeschooling and to keep them motivated, because remember all the schools were closed, so they had their little laptops that they took home, and keeping them motivated during that time, constantly reassuring them that it's going to be okay, this isn't going to last, this is just temporary, we shall overcome. You give them that motivational speech every morning, um, when people around you are just passing away, people are dying, and you just don't know who's going to make it, who's not going to make it, who's going to catch it, how are you going to catch it. So and then you still had to work. There were companies that were still open, and you still had to work. Some people had to go into the office, and some people had to, got the privilege of working home. So, God, I even remember taking someone that I know to the ER. Um, because they thought they had COVID, but they ended up it wasn't COVID. But while in the emergency room, there were so many people that had COVID, like inside. I just was like sitting outside, and even when I sat in the car, there was someone walking back and forth outdoors, and they were just coughing, just riddled with COVID. And I mean, all I could do was just pray for strength. You know, when I was weak, when I felt lonely, when I felt forsaken, I just like prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed that I could have the courage to stand up to it, and to deal with the people that I was losing. And it was just a lot. It was a lot. And I just want to leave you with one piece of advice, right? So I've been on this planet for almost half a century, and something I have learned is this: when a person dies, after the funeral, after the repast, after the tears, that person is quickly forgotten. No one remembers the departed's voice and all the things about them that made them unique. All the trinkets that they've owned or purchased gets either thrown away or given away. Your friends, your job, your acquaintances, and your family move on and start over fresh, and eventually forgetting about you entirely. So follow your heart and live each day to the fullest, because you die once. And when you do, everything that you have or had dies with you. To my loyal family, the Supernova Tosha Show podcast can be heard on these apps such as Spotify, Pandora, TuneIn, or iHeartRadio. The goal for me is to be on the top 10 best podcasts to listen to. So please like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and spread the word. I am so grateful for your time. I do want to thank you for being attentive. I appreciate your presence. Be careful, be safe, walk good, and peace be still.